And getting away from all the medical stuff, whether or not Matt Harvey has this, in my opinion, there's a simple question with a potentially complicated answer. Is this a big loss with the way Matt Harvey was pitching right now for this team?
Well, first of all, let's just say that personally, you hope that he's okay and it's not that serious of an injury, not only for his career, but also his, life, his health and his life here. For the Mets right now, what they're dealing with is essentially replacing a fifth starter. All due respect, Matt Harvey's been no better than a fifth starter on this team. He's got 10 losses, pitching to a 4.80 ERA. I know the potential, Moose, is going to be there if Harvey, you hope that he could regain form last year, but we're midway through the season. It hasn't been there yet. So right now, I don't think it's a big deal because he's a fifth starter.
Well, in the regular season, it's not. I mean, but they would have needed him, and I believe they're going to need him to get to where they want to go. I don't think they can win a World Series without Matt Harvey. Because you look at it right now, they're not winning. They're not leading the National League East. If you're in that playoff game, that means the playing game, basically the wild card. You're taking away Syndergaard. It severely hampers your starting rotation. Matt's is pitching with a significant bone chip in his elbow, bone spur in his elbow. We've seen the issues with Syndergaard as well. You can't tell me you're going to roll with Bartolo Colon. And Zach Wheeler is a huge question mark. I absolutely trust Jacob deGrom. So I really believe for the regular season, I don't think it's really that big of an impact. But it was a matter of Matt Harvey finding himself come October. If you take that out of the equation, I don't think they can get to where they want to go without Harvey.
Yeah, what the Mets would tell you today is that, hey, we've got that big three at the top of the rotation. If Harvey's gone, we'll take our chances with that. The offense is coming to life and all that. But I agree with you, Moose. It's not like, of course, Sal, you're right. Of course, you're not missing the Matt Harvey that we've seen. But for the Mets to have the kind of season they want to have, the only thing left for this team to accomplish is win the World Series.
Right.
That's what the season's about. Right. And they need Matt Harvey to be right to do that. So it's not like, okay, go get right, go away for the rest of the year. Phew, you're not a problem anymore. It's like, oh, now you're definitely not going to get right this year because you're gone. That if he was diagnosed with it. So that's a problem. They need him right to win the World Series.
But the point you're making, Moose, is contingent upon Matt Harvey pitching like Matt Harvey, right?
Sure.
So he would need to pitch like the guy he was last year in 2013. For that to be true, for him to be a necessity for this team to reach the World Series.
Yeah, I'm going on that assumption, right? And listen, he hasn't been that Matt Harvey, right? So we've all been searching for answers. He's told you that he's 100% healthy. Now, obviously, the news came down earlier this evening that he's not, and he's in St. Louis, going to be examined tomorrow. So we've been trying to figure everything and what's going on wrong with Matt Harvey. Now we have some sort of an answer. Now it's a matter of this team trying to pick up the pieces and move forward and see exactly the significance of the injury and the severity of the injury. Hopefully on Thursday, maybe Friday.
I know what Harvey can be, and I know what he was in the postseason last year, which is a big-time factor, obviously, for the Mets. But heading into the postseason this year, assuming that they get there some way, somehow, they have a better lineup. They are a better defensive team. They'll have a better bullpen, because even right now, as constituted, they're still better. And when you look at it, I do think you could have, if they're clicking on all cylinders, Syndergaard, deGrom, and Matz, I trust Bartolo to be a fourth guy. That's a pretty solid rotation. Again, not to minimize what Harvey can do or what he did. I do think
but
they
it's not overwhelming.
But there's a depth thing with it too.
That's what I was about to say.
I mean, you had Colon and Syndergaard coming out of the bullpen in huge spots where you're going to be relying on these guys, and now there's no margin for error. So obviously, Matz is pitching with an elbow injury. Syndergaard is too, to a lesser extent. If either of these guys can't deal with that anymore, that all of a sudden, the dominoes are really crumbling here. And Zach Wheeler, who the Mets are really counting on for production, is at this point you're looking at maybe he's back in late August. It's so much worse there than the initial projection. So there's just so much less there pitching-wise than they had last year on that deep run.
Well, the margin for error. I mean, I look at what defines this team, regardless of where the lineup is, and I know what Cespedes can do. And Sal, you're right. The lineup is better defensively. They're better. What makes them so scary come October is the starting rotation. Yep, that defines this Met organization. And now you're taking potentially a big piece, regardless of how he is pitching up until this point. We're still a couple of months, 2.5 months away from where he had an opportunity to get it right. Now, if you take that out of the equation, it changes the way you look at this team.
It's interesting, and I don't think fans on Twitter are the only people thinking this way, but as soon as this news came out, suddenly the Wheeler name is on Twitter. How soon is he coming back? What's his progress? So it could possibly put a little unwanted pressure on his Tommy John rehab. When is he going to be back? The Mets need him in the rotation.
Well, let's not forget the expectations for Wheeler when he first came up always going to be better than Harvey. Now, I know that's obviously changed. You don't know what you're going to get from him. A setback, you can't rely on him. I think the biggest point is the margin for error with all these guys, all that great depth, that is now gone. Now they have to stay healthy to even have a chance. It would be great if this isn't that significant, takes a couple of weeks off, maybe even a month, and Harvey gets himself off right heading on into the final month of the season in the postseason. Don't know what's going to happen right now. Bottom line is they have enough, but they have to make sure that those guys there stay healthy.